Previously on the Philippine Poker Tour Leg 1 at the Metro Card Club. The 341 hopefuls who began this initial sortie were reduced to 9 men. Ready, willing, and able for their shot at the biggest chunk of the 1 million peso guaranteed prize pool. Tournament veteran Jay Morales got his walking papers early as Richard Tampepe began what was to be a demolition job at the final table. And as the short stacks gave a futile effort to sway the balance of power away from the 3 monster stacks, Bernie Angeles drew to no avail against Richard, who is now looming as the favorite to take home the 612,000 peso top purse and a seat in the Tournament of Champions, where the winner claims a seat in the World Series of Poker main event in 2013. But his fellow big stacks in Joseph San Diego and Dexter Brian Luna pose as major threats, as well as the sea of short stacks still in contention. Get ready for poker on a whole new level as the final 7 players duke it out on the felt. The action shifts to a higher gear. This is the Philippine Poker Tour, and this is action at its finest. We are down to our last 7 players. Richard Tampepe, the chip leader in the first 2 days, sitting pretty on top with 2.2 million in chips. Dexter and Joseph hot on his heels. Ian Brion, Wesley Sioco. They have to make their move or they will be out next here at the Philippine Poker Tour. Welcome back to action in our final table. Wesley Sioco on the dealer button with ace-queen offsuit, and he's making a raise, 96,000, Ron.
Well, we see Ian fold, but Dexter has a garbage, really, but he has a nice little puzzle to figure out here. It's been folded all the way to the button, where Wesley is making a bet all of a sudden. It could look like a steal, and Dexter doesn't really need a hand to fight back here. He could raise him all in, and Wesley could fold if he's stealing. But what Dexter has to figure out is the guy's already put in 96,000 of his 200,000 stack. Maybe he's not folding the re-raise.
And Dexter is going to let go of this one. Wesley is going to win the hand pre-flop with his big raise. Now let's learn more about our player from Caloocan.
Wesley Sioco, 43 years old, from USA. I used to be a loadmaster for aircraft. I started playing at the Heritage Hotel for cash game. I played once in APD at a Resort World. It's very hard, especially those 3 big stacks, because I have a very short stacks. Yeah, I'm trying to be aggressive. Poker is a poker, so no fear at all. I'd like to win the title. I want to win this tournament really bad. This is a very good experience playing poker here in the Philippines, especially this tournament. My experience here in the PPD is very helpful.
There's some seriously sick poker action going on here at the Philippine Poker Tour. Ron Regis, your thoughts on the poker thus far?
My thoughts, Bob, are to call the poker doctor because it's seriously sick, as you said.
Okay, don't go away. More action from the Metro Card Club when we return.
All right, poker fans, I'm here with Sir Jojo Aliado. He's one of the founders here for the Philippine Poker Tour. How did you come up with this kind of idea for the Philippine Poker Tour?
It was an offshoot of my 2-month experience in the personal experience in the World Series of Poker. I went there, I played for 2 months. I considered myself really just a newcomer, a rookie. The things that I learned from playing for every day for 2 months were invaluable. But I thought that some of the guys that I had played against back in Manila probably do much better than I did in the WSOP. So I thought maybe we should give my fellow Filipino poker players the chance to play in WSOP. We should get a chance to showcase the talent of the Filipino poker player.
Now there are two ways of making a straight with an ace. The wheel straight and the Broadway straight. Let's learn the difference. Now this is a situation where I have flopped what is known as a wheel straight, where the ace is the lowest card in the straight. So my straight is ace, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might sound like a very strong hand, but in truth, it is the lowest straight you can possibly get. If someone else has these in their hand, then they have a higher straight than you. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So be careful about overplaying a wheel straight. Now in this situation, I have flopped what is known as the Broadway straight, the other kind of straight that you can make with an ace. In this situation, the ace is the highest card in the straight. 10, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace. This is a very powerful hand, but it can be beaten by a flush, a full house, or a 4 of a kind. As you can see, we have 2 diamonds here on the flop. If this card comes out on the turn, all of a sudden, you've got to be worried about someone else having 2 diamonds and beating you with a flush. Of course, that's a story for another day. Bob Guerrero and Ron Regis on the call. Blinds are still 20,000, 40,000.
Raise to 160,000.
And there is a raise from Joseph, who has the octopi. Pocket 8s. What do you make of this play?
Well, it's kind of a sizable raise from under the guns, and anyone who's played long enough here in the Philippines usually puts people on somewhere exactly around what Joseph has, a middle pocket pair. It's a race that doesn't want to get called, but doesn't mind getting called if he has to go all the way with it.
Ian Brion is gonna let go of his hand. Dexter Luna up next. And looks like he's gonna follow suit as well. Edwin Wee has a playable hand here. Ace Queen offsuit.
Well, not only is it a playable hand, it's a hand he could just shove it in there and get to see all 5 cards with it. And he might not mind the raise at this point. The raise that Joseph has put in is more than third of his total stack. So if he so much as calls this, he might as well put in the rest of his chips.
It's a smooth call though. Just a smooth call from Edwin Hui. And we are gonna see a flop.
Edwin doesn't have much left. If he checks and folds this, that would be a waste of a lot of money that he used to smooth call. And he doesn't get to see the turn and river. So we'll see how he plays this. And our
flop, Jack 3-2
Player all in.
with 2 diamonds, and Edwin has gone all in with 293,000.
Well, and now, Bob, I guess the plan is revealed. Edwin did not want to go all in pre-flop, fearing he might get called by just the kind of hand Joseph has. But on a flop like this, he's using the jack there for leverage and make Joseph think about it. Of course, there's always a chance Joseph has the jack because Edwin doesn't have it, but that's the risk he's willing to take now. He's representing right now a jack, but also the board is wet enough that there are 2 diamonds on board.
Show cards.
Joseph is called with his pocket 8s. He's not scared of that jack on the board, that overcard. What do you make of that, Ron?
Joseph figured it out here. He called Edwin knowing exactly what Edwin is trying to do. And he has made the right call. He is ahead of Edwin, and Edwin's got just drawing the 2 overcards, the ace or the queen, and he's got a couple backdoor draws. He could catch 2 cards for a running straight or a flush.
Joseph must have seen Edwin's huge all-in bet and figured that he was trying to take the pot without hitting anything on the flop. Real drama. Joseph gonna hang on.
Well, he needs to dodge an ace or queen, and that is a face card, and it's a jack, and it's good for Joseph. He doesn't mind if a bunch of jacks come on the turn and river right now.
Edwin needs help here. He needs an ace or a queen. It's not gonna come, and Edwin Hui is history. Joseph wins a pot that's almost 1 million in chips. And Edwin Hui will have to be content with 55,000 pesos in winnings. That's exactly 10 times his buy-in.
And it's exactly enough to get a plane ticket back to Canada.
Let's turn you over now to Bianca.
This is the Philippine Poker Tour, and we are with the third person to bust out from the final table, Edwin Hui. So, Sir Edwin, what exactly happened earlier?
You know, I waited, Hollywooded a little bit, and said, you know, I'm all in. And it took him a while to call. He called pretty fast, though, to give him credit. He obviously knew that possibly I could be doing this, but I still had 2 overcards. So I had some out, and basically the board blank. He called, the board blanked out for me, and well, that's poker.
Thank you so much, Sir Edwin, for sharing some of your experiences with us. Is there anyone you would like to say hi to?
No, I think the people that will want to see it will see it. So.
Or even to your opponents, good luck or anything?
I wish them all the best of luck. Some of them, I met some very interesting people, made some good friends today. And it's a great experience regardless of where you end up, you know.
And with that big win, Joseph San Diego now within striking distance of Richard Tampepe, who is still our chip leader. Everybody now guaranteed at least 61,000 pesos, but they're all gunning for that first prize of 612,000 pesos. We'll be back with more Texas No Limit Hold'em from the Philippine Poker Tour after this. And that's Tournament Director Brian Malantic coloring up the chips of Joseph San Diego. That means taking out his lower denomination chips, putting in higher denomination ones. Dexter Luna is not gonna enter the hand with 7-5 offsuit, but Joseph has sailboats, pocket 4s, and he limps.
Richard also limps in with Jack 9, both of the chip leaders getting adventurous, and here is the answer to their adventurous.
Ace Jack of Hearts for Wesley Shoko, and he's gonna race with it.
Raise to 120,000.
Well, surprising he didn't just put it all in there. Maybe he plans to shove any flop if he remotely hits it with his Ace Jack. Doesn't look like Joseph is that interested all of a sudden. And I'm surprised. He has so many chips. Surely 80,000 more to see a flop.
On you, sir.
Well, he's mouthed the words fold, and now Richard's thinking about it, and he decides, well, we're heads up. I might as well see a flop. He's got a pretty playable hand against most of the raising aces, ace-type hands that Wesley could have. Here comes a flop.
Ace Jack against Jack 9. The Ace Jack is way ahead. The flop is King Queen Ace. Wesley has shoved all in with his top pair.
Richard quietly but immediately calls. He likes what he's seeing on the board. Little does he know, well, now he knows that a 10 is actually going to chop the board for them, but he still has clean outs, Bob, for any diamond that he can hit on the Turner River. And any diamond will have Wesley drawing dead. Wesley has to dodge those diamonds.
Will his ace hold up? The turn card's a 5 of diamonds, and Richard has hit his flush.
Wesley is drawing dead here. There's no card that can help him, not even the 10, because Richard already has a flush. And he's already packing up his jacket and getting ready to go here. There's no card that can help him.
The river is a 7 of spades. It doesn't matter. Richard wins a massive pot, and Wesley Shoko has busted out, and he finishes 6th and wins 61,000 pesos. Meanwhile, Richard Tampepe has increased his lead over the other players on our final table. And with that bust out of Wesley Shoko, Richard Tampepe has amassed a huge chip stack of 2.7 million. He's way ahead of Joseph San Diego and Dexter Brian Luna. Ray Villegas is still hanging in there. Bringing up the rear is Poker Manila's Ian Brion. Let's learn a bit more about him.
I'm Ian Brion. I'm 31 years old. I've been playing poker for the past 3 years. I used to be a journalist. Then there was the Asia Pacific Poker Tour. I was assigned to cover it. Then I just fell in love with the game. I like playing poker because of the adrenaline rush, the chance to earn money. Because I've been playing 12, 13 hours a day. Yeah, I'm very happy that I made it to the final table. This is my first final table live in a live tournament. I played second in Cebu. That's 2011. The 2 million guaranteed there. What I feel right now is I'm not nervous. I'm confident that I can maybe finish within in the top 3.
Now here's an interesting situation. A set of fives went all in on the flop and was called by pocket queens, an overpair. Then the turn and river are dealt. Who wins the pot? Find out when we return here on the Philippine Poker Tour. Welcome back to the Philippine Poker Tour. Before the break, we gave you this interesting situation. So who wins the pot? Actually, both players do. If you read the board correctly, it is a king high flush. This is a split pot. Bummer for the set, jubilation for the queens.
We are now down to the last 5. Everybody here guaranteed at least 68,000 pesos. Ian Brion, not a whole lot of chips to work with.
Yeah, well, it's easy to work with now that it's been folded to him and he only has to contend with Dexter in the big blind. He's pushed all in.
8-7 offsuit. Dexter has king queen.
Well, it's only 87,000 more for Dexter to call, and he has over 1.5 million. So he just needs to feel it out whether his king queen actually has a shot or if Ian is pushing with a decent hand here.
They are called.
He's called all in.
Show cards.
They're gonna show their whole cards. King queen ahead of 8-7 offsuit.
Well, Dex is in good shape here considering he didn't have to put in that much more money. And now he has a shot at Ian's 127,000 worth of chips and all that dead money in the middle. All he has to do is for the board to hit nobody.
The flop is 6-4, queen, 2 spades. Dexter has hit the queen.
Yeah, that's not nobody. That's a good hit for Dexter. So that's got Ian drawing pretty slim. He's drawing to a gut shot now. He needs a 5 to make a straight.
The turn is 7 of spades. That helps Ian.
It helps Ian. It gives him 5 new outs. Any 8 or any 7 will give him 2 pairs, and the 5 will still give him the best hand.
That's a 10 of spades. Ian is gone. Dexter wins 279,000, and the brave stand is over for Ian Brion. He does take home 68,000 pesos for 5th place, and he is with Bianca Zaldua.
Getting more excited here in the Philippine Poker Tour. We got the 4th and the 5th person to bust out. We have Wesley Sioco and, of course, Ian Brion. Now, Sir Wesley, I'll start with you. You were ahead in your last hand, but you got drawn out. What happened?
Oh, I didn't get lucky. I was ahead. I have the ace jack suited. My guy has a flash draw, and he got the flash.
What about Sir Ian? What happened to you?
I was left with around 4 big blinds, so I was forced to shove any two cards with that short stack. So unluckily, he got me 60-40 ahead, something like that. I didn't hit on the board, so that's it, busted out.
Is there anything you would like to say to your opponents who are still at the table or anyone at home who's probably watching?
I would just like to thank those who supported me, particularly the Poker Manila family, Poker Forum, online forum, pokermanila.com.
Like to say hi to all my relatives in US.
Four-handed Richard Tampepe very much in command of things with 2.7 million. He is comfortably ahead of Joseph San Diego. Dexter Brian Luda very much in the hunt. Ray Villegas really has to make a move or he'll be out in the cold. We are now at the business end of the Philippine Poker Tour. Just the last 4 players left after we say goodbye to Wesley and Ian. Richard Tampepe is on the rampage. He is taking players out left and right, and that's why he is our chip leader with 2.7 million in chips. Ron Reyes, how do you see this playing out here shorthanded?
None of the short stacks have gotten anything going for them. Their chips just ended up where the rest of the chips of the final table have been sitting from the start. Richard has a giant chip lead, but Dex and Joseph are still sitting on a very decent stack. They've kept it standing and alive. Ray has to start making some moves. He's been sitting there blinding out slowly, and he's the short stack at this table now.
Well, let's see how this plays out. We'll go right back to the action here at the Philippine Poker Tour. We started this tournament with 341 players. Now we are down to just 4. How does the game change with it being this short-handed, Ron?
Well, Bob, I gotta talk to Ray for a while. I gotta say this. Hey, Ray, you gotta wake up. Ray's gotta wake up right now because all the other short stacks are gone and they're all looking at him to blind out of this game. And he has to get in there. Now that it's four-handed, there's gonna be so much pressure that blinds come around twice more often than it did about a few hours ago. So now he has to make a lot of moves and let these big stacks feel like, hey, I'm ready to play now. I'm still here.
And the big stacks, they can see the buzzard circling Ray Villegas. They, of course, want him eliminated. 5-4 offsuit for Dexter Luna. And it appears he is going to limp in.
It's folded to him. He had the option to raise, but he's got a pretty deep stack along with Joseph San Diego, so he opts to play this one a little bit more carefully and just completes a small blind. Joseph checks. We're going to see a flop, Bob.
Joseph dominates Dexter. The flop is 4-10 queen. Dex has hit the 4, bottom pair. The turn is a 2 of spades after they both check the flop, and Dexter looks like he's going to make a move.
Well, the 2 doesn't help anybody, and even if it helps Joseph, Dex has already hit the 4. He doesn't feel like Joseph may have the queen or 10 here because he would have bet the flop otherwise, and he did not bet the flop, so the 4 is looking pretty good.
Dex bets 77,000. Decision time now for Joseph. Joseph is gonna toss his hand, and Dexter wins 177,000. That's gonna help him close the gap between him and Richard Tampepe here on the Philippine Poker Tour.
Alright, poker fans, I just gotta tell you that there's more to the card room than just the players, just the winning, just the cards and everything. Well, it is more about that, but I have to say that there are a lot of interesting people that you're gonna meet, and one of them is right here, Mr. Romeo from the Metro Card Club. He is actually a dealer. Now, Kuya Romeo, ano yung trabaho mo bago ka naging dealer?
Dati akong factory worker. Nag-resign ako. Naghanap ako ng ibang trabaho. Ayun, may nakapagsabi sa akin na mag-apply ako dito sa Metro. Nagkaroon ng opening para sa training ng dealer. Nag-try ako. Ngayon, dealer na ako.
Gano'ng katagal ba ang training niyo bilang dealer?
Kulang-kulang 3 months.
Nahirapan ka ba nun?
Oo, nung una dahil napakalayo sa sa nakagisna kong trabaho.
Yung buhay mo ngayon, ibang-iba talaga sa buhay mo dati.
Diba, dahil nung una, halos dumugo na ilong mo katatrabaho, walang nangyayari. Pero napunta ako dito sa Metro,
ayun, kapag pagawa ko ng bahay, hindi naman sa magandang eskwelahan yung anak ko, pero maayos naman sila.
All right, that was Romeo, one of the dealers here in the Metro Card Club. He's actually one of the characters that you might see when you visit here. So be sure to visit and watch us, of course, here at the Philippine Poker Tour.
And the gap has narrowed somewhat between Richard Tampepe and Joseph San Diego, but Tampepe still in the lead. Ray Villegas, he's got to start doing something.
Yeah, time is running out for a senior citizen. He's not yet on life support, but he's getting there. I mean, his chips are getting there.
Richard Tampepe has folded, and the action now is on Dexter Luna. He has a decent chip stack with which to make some moves, and with Queen Jack suited, he's going to raise this to 118,000.
Well, this is almost a mandatory raise. It's folded in on the button. There's only 4 of them playing, and he's got a pretty decent hand. He can pick up the money right here, or even he can take a flop and still have position on whoever calls.
Little does he know that Joseph dominates him with King Queen.
Well, the thing is, if Joseph whiffs the flop entirely, assuming he calls here, Dex can take it down with almost any bet.
He has called. Ray Villegas wants no part of this hand, and it's heads up on the flop. The flop is 10 Jack 8 of diamonds, and Dex has hit his Jack.
Well, Dex has got the middle pair in a gut shot, but it's such an ugly flop. It's so wet, like a boot stuck in mud, only wetter.
Joseph checks, and Dex now with a decision to make.
Well, it's almost automatic. He's got to keep betting here. The flop is so scary. It would fold out any ace-high type of hand that would have called him. But Joseph, actually a hand here that I think the best way to play it here is to come back really strong.
Dex has bet 156,000 on his top pair, and it's up to Joseph. He's got an open-ended straight draw and overcards.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way he's folding this. At the very least, he's gonna call. But with the texture of the board like that, you can come back and play it even stronger.
That's exactly what he's gonna do. He's gonna raise this to 456,000. A check raise on the flop for Joseph San Diego.
That is a lot of heat for Dex. He's got the jack going for him, but he's got a pretty weak kicker, and he doesn't have a diamond. There's no backup plan for his top pair here. So he's got to figure out if this is good enough for him to go with, or if he'll fight another day.
Dexter really needs to think this over. He has top pair, but so often in poker you don't want to overplay top pair, and he lets it go. Joseph winning a huge pot. Now we'll turn you over to Bianca Saldua, who's with our host Nick Galan.
Welcome, poker fans, to the Philippine Poker Tour, and we are here in the Metro Card Club, and I am with Sir Nick Galan, the president of the Metro Card Club. Now, Sir Nick, what is the Metro Card Club offering for the first leg of the Philippine Poker Tour?
Well, we're offering the infrastructure. We're offering a place to hold the event. We're offering our staff, our wonderfully talented staff, as well as much support as we can possibly give them. It's a great concept.
And you've played a little bit, like you said earlier. So how was the experience with them and seeing some of the players who are a little bit more intense than you actually thought, probably?
Well, the guys who put together the Philippine Poker Tour are clearly knowledgeable in poker. It was a very well-structured tournament, very well put together. I heard no complaints, and I'm actually seeing a lot of smiles on the faces of the folks who played, even those that haven't made the money. I think it's a fantastic concept that I really hope will click in the Philippine poker community, because it's a needed service, actually.
Are you excited about the Battle of the Champions that we're going to have later in the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm certain at least a fair percentage of the people in that final table are going to be seasoned professionals or seasoned players that play regularly, and we're going to see how skill triumphs in the end.
All right, so how do you think that the champion will fare in the World Series of Poker 2013?
That's a whole other story. I mean, the World Series, you have a minimum of 6,000 plus players of different varying skill levels from all around the world. But at least what we're doing is giving a local player an opportunity to go.
Down to our last 4 players here in the Philippine Poker Tour leg number 1. First to act is Dexter Luna. Still with a decent stack. And he shows Jack 9 offsuit, and he doesn't want to play with that. Ace 3 suited for Joseph San Diego. Playable, but he doesn't like it. And Ray Villegas is going to go all in with just about nothing.
Well, nothing is what you need if you have the guts and a still beating heart under there. Seat 6 comes alive and stays alive.
Ray Villegas winning a badly needed pot to stay alive here in the Philippine Poker Tour Leg 1.
Hold your breath for more poker action only here at the Philippine Poker Tour.
And this is where we stand at the moment. Richard Tampepe still the chip leader, but Joseph San Diego and Dexter Brian Luna have chips to play with. Ray Villegas taking down a badly needed pot there. He is at $500,000 in chips. Let's learn a bit more about our returning OFW, Reynaldo Villegas.
Ang pangalan ko po ay si Reynaldo Villegas. Hindi ko masabi kung paano ko nahilig. When I do learn to play poker, since then I continue playing poker. I'm sad to say that my stock is really short stock. I needed a lot of luck to make it. Well, honestly, I want both. The title really is a great honor as a poker player. Kahit sino magsabi, talaga yan pangarap din yan. Makarating dyan sa malaking tournament. Ang masasabi ko lang sa experience na ito ay napakalaking pagkakataon ang binibigay nila sa mga poker player.
Dexter Luna once again first to act. He shows King Deuce. He is gonna fold, and so will Joseph San Diego. Ray goes all in with ace-9 offsuit, and Richard with queens. A quick call.
He didn't even stop to talk himself out of it. He saw 2 queens and he goes, call, of course.
Richard is ahead. Ray needs an ace here to stay alive.
The light not quite faded yet from Ray's poker final table aspirations.
Baby cards on the flop. 6-2-3. The turn is a 7. Only a few outs now for Ray, clinging on to life.
He needs an ace on the river. That's what he needs to keep going here. Or else it's a 4th place finish.
The river is a 10, and Ray is out of this tournament, finishing 4th place with 77,000 pesos. Meanwhile, Richard Tampepe, another huge pot. Now let's turn you over to Bianca Saldua, who is with our 4th place finisher.
Actually, I'm already satisfied. But I play well and didn't get lucky, that's all.
All right. Is there anything that you would like to say to your opponents or anyone at home who is probably watching?
I said I wish them all good luck and see them on another tour.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
This is where we stand with 3 players left at the Philippine Poker Tour. Richard Tampepe, a massive chip lead over Joseph San Diego, who is at 2.2 million in chips. Don't count out Dexter Brian Luna yet with 1.5 million. He could still pick up some pots and have a run at the title. We expected a long drawn-out session at the final table of the Philippine Poker Tour Leg 1 at the Metro Card Club. But instead, players began dropping like flies at the drop of a hat. First to get shown the door was Canadian entrepreneur Edwin Hui, who chose the wrong time to make the right move as Joseph San Diego called his aggressive shove and held his ground. Then, almost as if a plague had afflicted the short stacks, Wesley Sioco and Ian Brion followed each other to the sidelines as Richard Tampepe and Dexter Brian Luna took turns in disposing of them. Just like that, there were only 4 left. Richard collected his 4th scalp of the final table when he snap-called Ray Villegas' desperate shove, and the field is now reduced to the 3 players who started the final table with more than 2/3 of the total chips in play. Richard Tampepe, Joseph San Diego, Dexter Brian Luna. One of these men will walk away with the 612,000 peso top prize, a seat in the Tournament of Champions, and a shot at the main event of the World Series of Poker in 2013. The saga continues next time on the Philippine Poker Tour. For Ron Regis, the lovely Bianca Saldua, and all the people behind the Philippine Poker Tour, this is Bob Guerrero, and it's goodbye from the Metro Card Club, and this is the Philippine Poker Tour.